Alright, this week we're going to go with a fly that I honestly don't know what the name of it is, who designed it, nothing. I don't know much about it at all. Pardon the mess, by the way, too. Got tenant twos all over the place. Taking a break from that, and we're going to get this week's fly shot. So we're going to do a quick one here. Like I said, this one, I have no idea who tied this fly, who designed it, anything about it, other than I fished it, and it's an awesome nymph. I mean, it flat out produces. A little background on this one. So when I was stationed down in Georgia, a buddy of mine, Matt Rhodes, we were stationed in Oklahoma together, and then he got out and moved back to North Carolina, right on the Georgia border. So when I was stationed in Georgia, I would drive up to see him all the time, and we'd go up and fish in Nantahala and all over Western Carolina and East Tennessee, and even some North Georgia. We would do some up on the Toccoa or not Hiawassee, but Chattooga and all that. So we would go up there and fish, and anyhow, I'm starting to ramble on a good bit here. But I was fishing this one run on the upper end of the Nantahala. It's a delayed harvest up there, mainly bucket fish. And we were just nymphing this one section, and this old boy came through. And, we were picking fish up. He was picking fish up, and we just got to BSing a little bit, and he handed me this fly. And said that's what he was doing really well on, and I kind of looked at it, and, I thought it was a little strange. But, I took it home, and, I fished it there, and I took it back to Pennsylvania and fished it, and I haven't fished it out here in Montana, mainly because I don't really nymph that much. But it flat out produced. It really did. I don't know. I don't have a rhyme or a reason as to why it caught fish. It doesn't really represent anything. It's got some red crystal flash in it, which, I don't know. But like I said, it was mainly bucket fish that we were catching. But then we'd take it down. We'd go from the delayed harvest there on the Nantahala, and then we'd go down onto the actual main stem of the river there, and would fish for some of the wild browns with the streamers and everything. So great river system if you guys get a chance, if you're in that area. I definitely recommend going up there. Really good river system. But anyhow, we're going to get zoomed in on this one and go through this one really quick so I can get back to the production stuff. But we'll go ahead and get going on this fly, and we'll explain it a little bit as we go through. Really basic, really quick and simple pattern. But it caught a lot of fish. Hopefully it helps you guys out a little bit too. Let me get rid of this button. There we go. Less distracting. Alright, so I'm starting on this one. This is a size 14, just a standard nymph hook. Let me see if I can find it here. It's Daiichi 1560. But whatever nymph hook you guys decide to use will suffice. And then I did this one in 14s and 16s, and just some rusty brown thread is what I'm using here. It's just because it's what's on the vise, or what's on the bobbin for me. Any color of thread would work. So start out on this. With the tail for this fly, we're just going to go with about, I don't know, 5 to 7, 4 to 6. I'm not going to take the time to count them, but just some Coq de Leon. And we're going to run this the length of our hook. Just get this secured, leave this in for bulk, or leave this in to help with your taper. And I'm just going to run it the whole way up to the front here and just cover all of this up. If you get some longer fibers, obviously, and it's going to be getting close to the eye of your hook, or covering up the eye of your hook, just give it a quick trim and get rid of that stuff before it makes a mess up there. Don't cover up your eye and make it more difficult to whip finish your pattern. Next up on this one, I'm just going to take some red Krystal flash, and this is going to be a rib, and I'm going to say a Wingcase as well. I'm assuming that's what the intent of this was. You'll see it once we spin this forward after we get our dubbing and everything on there. Get out of there. That's probably a little long, but I'll leave it as is. So we'll get that up to there, and then I'm going to go ahead, and this is just dark Hare's mask, Hare's ear dubbing. This is the blended one. I have the actual mask around here somewhere, and I don't know where I put it, and I'm not going to really take a ton of time to search for it when I have this at my disposal. But either one you decide to use, I mean, you can go with squirrel on this if you would like as well, as long as it's kind of a darker color. And that darker gray is what we're after. So I'm just going to spin this probably about to our 2/3 point, make sure that I got everything covered up there real nice, and then I'm just counter wrapping this with this red Krystal flash. Like I said, I don't know what this is meant to imitate or anything, or if it's just a strict attraction pattern, but for some reason, I mean, the red, I don't know, it did its thing. It caught fish. But okay, so now that we got that one tied off with this red, all I'm going to do now is just double this over, and then I'm going to bring it back on itself. If it twists, if it does whatever, that's fine. It's not a big deal. So just double that over, and then I'm going to tie this in, and then we'll trim off this red. Then I'm going to trim this, and then right up from where my tail ends, I'm just going to take and clip those off. These two are just going to kind of sit off to the side and act as a sort of an overwing. But yeah, I mean, obviously when they get wet, they get in water, it's going to go back into the fly. I don't know if it'll look like a lateral line or what. Like I said, this fly leaves more questions than it does answers. But I keep going back to it. The reason that I tie it and kept it in my box, because it caught fish. Before we go ahead and dub in our front section, I'm just going to take some. This is just a regular mottled turkey. I'm going to try and get some of that brown in there. Some of that brown and dark black or dark brown, tan. I like getting those little color transitions or the little mix, the nice variations in there. When I do this, it doesn't really matter at all. But just, you know, from a aesthetic standpoint, it does look a little better. I mentioned this before when I'm working with this turkey for the Wingcase and everything, especially, you know, like hare's ear or you know, some of the stone flies that I use the turkey for the overwings on. Let me grab this. What I do is I'll take this, it's just a fly dressing. It's from Cascade Crest Tools, and all you do is you just spray this on your feather and run it across, and what it does is it stiffens up your fibers. That way when you go, especially for the overwing or for the wing cases, when you fold this stuff back over, it doesn't split, so it gives that nice solid appearance that you're after, and it won't give you the strands that you get when you sometimes tie with this stuff, or tie with this turkey. So then I'm just going to take my thread, I'm going to form a quick dubbing loop. I'm going to grab my tool, I guess this is just basically a modified hare's ear. But maybe that's just the way he tied his. I'm not really sure. That thing wasn't too happy there. It felt like it wanted to break. And then we'll take, I'm gonna err on the side of caution here like I normally do with this, and I'm gonna take excess dubbing. I only want to do this loop once. I don't want to have to go back and try and get the right amount. If I'm short, add more and do another dubbing loop, just waste time. So if I have a little bit extra, it's not the end of the world. I just trim it off and call it good. So there we go. And then we're going to take a quick spin on this. That's going to be most definitely excessive. But if I don't like the overall thickness, I can go back over top of this and add a little bit to it. Keep your eye nice and clean. As I'm trying to do here, I got it a little bit close to the eye, but as I peel that back, I'm still going to have plenty of room to work with. So I'm going to tie that off. Got some of those guard hairs sticking out the front. And then I'm going to run this over the top for my wing case. Tie this right behind the eye. Pick this up, you can see I got a nice clean eye yet. Not going to have any obstructions for my tippet getting in there. Couple of wraps, and then we're just going to trim this off. And we'll use the whip finisher on this one. It's pretty small pattern, so I'll just throw a quick whip finish on there. Maybe give it a second one for good measure. And that's all there is to it. Like I said, quick, pretty simple pattern. You know, the more that I look at it now, it probably is just a modified hare's ear. I have no clue where the red Krystal flesh came in, but it sure seemed to get the job done. So we're going to go, this one's just going to be the Carolina Nymph, I guess. That's what we'll reference it as. But give this one a shot. See how it does for you. Like I said, I mean, it's produced for me more than I thought that it would, quite honestly, and not just on the bucket fish. I mean, even on the little J, where you can get some pretty stingy trout, it's got fish up there as well. So I mean, give this one a shot. Hopefully it'll do well for you guys as well. As always, any questions or comments on this one, leave them with me and I'll get back to you. But thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.